I'm Mary Beth Hughes here with Choctaw running back James Banks. James, last week, we hung with the #1 team in the nation, and you guys gave them a run for their money in the first half especially. What was the mindset going into that game, and how did it unfold on the field?
All right, the mindset coming into that game was that, first of all, you have a confidence boost of first being an underdog and knowing that you're playing the #1 team in the country. I think that really sparked us all that week to practice hard, pick up the pace, and really just go into that game with a mindset and focus to just win that game.
Well, after that game, like you said, it's a confidence booster. What's been the mood in the locker room this week going into West Al?
Going into West Al, knowing that, the season is coming to an end, we want to pick up the pace each day, knowing that we still have a chance to get these last 2 wins.
You've been here for 1 year. You came from Tech. What's been the difference between this season and last season? Last season, first year in the Division II.
Well, the biggest difference was the transitioning. Being that we was a D3 school, prior years, I feel that the transition and getting the recruits that you need to compete at this type of level really set us apart this year. And you can obviously see that we've been competing very well.
Well, as a running back, you got to have some good guys up front. So tell me a little about the guys on the O-line.
The O-line, I feel like the coaches have really done a great job going out and recruiting some bigger guys to, go out and block. And, it's our job as an offense, we want to be collectively as a group, as a whole, to just compete every day and get each other better. And, it starts with those guys.
Well, you've had a very successful year this year. Tell me about your running style.
Running style is just, with this offense, you have to be between the tackles. You have to know how to run outside, just get outside and, just be able to just, use your abilities the best way you can.
We're on the road this week at West Al. What's the key to victory, and what can we expect defensively?
The key to victory is, as far as the offensive standpoint, is just to move the ball, score as many points as we can. Defensively, it's just to create turnovers and get stops, and I feel like we could come out successful in this game.
Well, you're from Chalmette, Louisiana, and you spent, a couple years at Louisiana Tech. Tell me about your time there.
My time there at Louisiana Tech, it was tremendous, Things didn't really go as planned as I expected, but, I've learned a lot from there. The experience was good. Being here, I've met new brothers, and I'm glad to be a part of the Choctaw family.
How'd you end up at MC?
How did I end up at MC? Actually, MC was recruiting me out of high school, but I had better offers. So I went D1 first, and then things got a little shaky at Tech, and, Coach Joseph was still here. And he was one of the coaches who recruited me out of high school. And I gave him a call, and then once I found out he left, it was just a thing. But I really liked it, and I stayed with it, and I'm glad I made the decision to stay
Well,
here.
it seems like it's worked out.
Yes,
what's your major?
Exercise science.
Tell me about your future plans.
I plan to be a strength coach, and have an athletic. So it got to be something to deal with athletes. I love the atmosphere of just being competitive, and that's where I set my edge at.
Did you play any other sports in high school?
I ran track.
Which is your favorite, football or track?
Football. I have to go with football. Football is just that competitive edge, and I'm just a competitor.
Well, as a senior, it's your last year at MC. What's the mark you hope to leave on the Choctaw program when you leave?
On the Choctaw program, I just feel that, being a Choctaw, it exemplifies just hard work, dedication, and just pure determination to just win, and we are collectively a family. And I just plan to leave, on the younger guys that you can do anything you put your mind to, just be successful in life.
Well, thank you so much for taking out some time to talk with us today, James, and good luck on Saturday.
Thank you.